Because if I were an evil genius, I personally would do something very subtle that would change the bacterial component of your microbiome. And as such, your body would struggle. You would become sick. You would become weak. You would wind up developing mental problems because all of those functions are determined by the health of your microbiome. And I ran across, you know how it is. You run across one story and then all of a sudden, like other kind of similar stories pop up. And then you have to ask yourself, are these two things related? First of all, I saw a very interesting paper on a new species. Y'all may have seen it. I don't know if you follow health news, you've seen it. A new species. What is it? We don't know. It's called an obelisk. An obelisk? It's a piece of RNA that is utilizing a bacterial cell to make a protein and to reproduce itself, but it doesn't seem to leave the bacteria and cause other infections. So they don't think it's a virus, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And when studied around the world, the protein that is coded for seems to be regional. So the obelisks in your body code for a slightly different bacteria than, let's say, in Japan. And again, it has nothing to do with you, the human being. This is in your microbiome. In particular, they believe it's related to a type of bacteria that lives in your mouth. Does it control the microbiome? Does the protein that it codes for interact with you, the human? Like, how does that work? We don't know. Fascinating. They're calling it a new type of species, and that's teetering between living and not living. And then randomly, as I'm looking for more articles on that, because I'm reading about bacteria, I'm trying to find, are there any other bacteria with this obelisk sitch going on? Saw an article that there is a very particular bacteria called the Bifidobacterium infantis, I guess, that all of us have. And they are finding that in some people post-mRNA COVID vaccine, you no longer have this bacteria. And then, of course, those people all have gut issues because it's an important bacteria to your gut health. I don't know what the long-term ramifications of that is. The mRNA injections were auto-replicating for the most part. I mean, basically, it's in a little fat particle, you inject it into your body. And so they found this mRNA collect in a lot of different places, which was alarming in and of itself. A recent paper out of Yale says that a certain percentage of people forever and ever make spike protein now as a result of mRNA injections. Here's my question. Is that mRNA permanently affixed to us and turned into DNA, which intermittently becomes RNA and becomes a protein? Or does it become a permanent little viroid, little circle of RNA that self-replicates and just kind of hangs around forever and ever and ever? And those people would like to know in the test subjects how many of those people have been vaccinated or got COVID or both. That's what I would want to see. Because if I were an evil genius, I personally would do something very subtle that would change the bacterial component of your microbiome. And as such, your body would struggle. You would become sick. You would become weak. You would wind up developing mental problems because all of those functions are determined by the health of your microbiome. And so as I look at the population in the Western world in particular, where these vaccines were forced upon us, you can see a breakdown of health. You can see cancer rates increase. You can see mental health decline. Are the two things coincidental, which they very easily could be, or are all the two, or is there causation somewhere? If there's causation somewhere, was this done to us on purpose? Because if I were an evil genius, that's exactly what I would do, and no one would be the wiser.